Work hard in silence, let success make the noise. Success isn't about talking, it's about doings. In today's world, people are obsessed with broadcasting their goals, seeking validation and proving themselves before they've even begun the real work. But here's the truth, the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Think about it, the strongest trees grow their roots deep underground before anyone sees them rise. The greatest champ train behind closed doors before stepping onto the world stage. The most impactful ideas are developed in solitude before they change history. We crave recognition. We want people to see our effort. But if you're constantly announcing your goals, you're wasting energy that should be spent on building, refining, and improving. Instead of seeking applause, seek progress. Instead of proving yourself, focus on improving yourself. History's most remarkable achievers weren't the ones who talked the loudest. They were the ones who silently mastered their craft while the world remained unaware, and when the moment was right, they revealed something so extraordinary that no one could ignore it. Today I'm going to show you why working in silence is the key to success, how to develop unshakable discipline, and why your results should always speak louder than your words. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I break down how you can cut through distractions, silence self-doubt, and create the kind of success that shocks the world. Let's dive in. Number 1. The best work happens in private. Success isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. The late nights, the early mornings, the hours spent perfecting your craft in silence, that's where greatness is born. The world only sees the finished product, the moment of victory, but it never witnesses the relentless effort that happens behind closed doors. Think about J.K. Rowling, the woman behind Harry Potter. Before she became one of the most successful authors in history, she was a struggling single mother writing in cafes while battling rejection after rejection. No one saw those lonely nights, the self-doubt, or the countless revisions she made before her story reached the world, but she didn't let failure or invisibility stop her. She kept writing, working in silence until her work spoke so loudly that it was impossible to ignore. The best work happens in private because that's where you have the freedom to fail when no one is watching. You can make mistakes, learn from them, and grow without fear of judgment. Imagine an artist creating a masterpiece, each brushstroke, each correction, each improvement happens in solitude. By the time the world sees the final painting, they don't see the discarded drafts or the hours of practice. They only see the brilliance of the finished piece. But why do so many people struggle with this? Because we want validation. We want people to see how hard we're working. We want them to acknowledge our effort. But here's the truth. Seeking validation too soon can rob you of your focus when you work for applause. Instead of improvement, you become addicted to approval. Instead of mastery. Real success doesn't come from seeking attention, it comes from putting in the work day after day without expecting immediate recognition. Take a look at Steve Jobs in the early years of Apple. He wasn't out telling the world what he was going to do. He was in a garage tirelessly working with his team, perfecting ideas that would change technology forever. He let his work speak for itself. And when the world finally saw it, they were stunned. If you want to be truly great, stop announcing your progress and start building in silence. Let your results be undeniable. When you finally emerge, people will wonder where you came from, how you did it, and why they never saw it coming. That's the beauty of working in private. It gives you the time, space, and freedom to become unstoppable. Number 2. It's easy to talk about what you're going to do. In fact, simply announcing your goals can make you feel like you're already making progress. But here's the reality. Talking is not the same as doing. Success doesn't come from words, it comes from consistent, disciplined action. The world is full of people who make big declarations but never follow through. What separates achievers from dreamers is the discipline to work in silence day after day without seeking validation. One of the greatest examples of this is Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history. While other swimmers trained hard, Phelps trained even harder, and he did it in complete silence. He followed a relentless training schedule, swimming every single day, including weekends, holidays, and even Christmas. He didn't post about his workouts, seek recognition, or look for excuses. He simply did the work. His coach once revealed that Phelps trained for 5 straight years without missing a single day, an unheard of level of discipline in competitive sports. When he finally stepped onto the Olympic stage, the world was stunned by his dominance, but Phelps wasn't surprised. He already knew he had outworked everyone else. This is the kind of discipline that leads to greatness. Most people only work hard when they feel like it. But true discipline means doing the work even when no one is watching, even when motivation fades, even when progress feels slow. It's about committing to the process regardless of whether anyone is there to applaud you. The moment you realize that success is built on discipline, not excitement, you become unstoppable. The problem is that people crave recognition. They want to feel like their work matters, so they talk about their goals hoping for encouragement. But what if seeking validation is actually holding you back? Studies have shown that when you tell people about your goals, your brain gets a dopamine boost, the same feeling of satisfaction you'd get from actually achieving the goal. This tricks your mind into believing you've already made progress, making you less likely to put in the necessary effort. That's why so many people announce their dreams but never follow through. They feel accomplished just from talking about them. Instead of seeking motivation from others, develop the discipline to push forward on your own. Imagine a sculptor working on a masterpiece. Each day they chip away at the stone, making tiny improvements that no one notices. The work is slow, repetitive, and sometimes frustrating, but they keep going, refining their craft without an audience. And then one day they step back and see what they've created, a masterpiece. This is how success works. It's not a sudden explosion of talent, it's the result of years of disciplined effort. Consider Leonardo da Vinci, one of history's greatest minds. Before he painted the Mona Lisa, he spent years mastering anatomy, light, and perspective, filling notebooks with observations and sketches. He didn't rush to show the world his work before it was ready. Instead, he built his knowledge quietly, so when he finally unveiled his masterpiece, it was flawless. That's the power of discipline. It allows you to work without distractions, without the need for immediate results, and without external validation. It teaches you to focus on mastery, not attention. When you truly commit to the process, you don't need to tell anyone what you're doing. Your results will speak for themselves. Here's a simple test. If you stop telling people about your goals today, would you still work just as hard? If the answer is no, then you're relying too much on external motivation. But if you can wake up, put in the work, and stay focused without needing applause, then you've developed true discipline, the kind that leads to unstoppable success. The world doesn't need more people who talk about what they're going to do. It needs more people who quietly put in the work and let their success make the noise. Don't waste your energy trying to prove yourself. Instead, invest that energy into becoming someone no one can ignore. Because when the time comes and the world finally sees what you've built, they won't just be impressed, they'll be shocked. Number 3. Why people doubt you and why it doesn't matter. Whenever you start chasing something big, people will doubt you. They will question your ability, your ideas, and your vision. Some will tell you it's impossible, while others will try to talk you out of it because they don't see what you see. But here's what you need to understand: their doubt is not about you. It's about them. It's a reflection of their own fears, limitations, and insecurities. The biggest mistake you can make is letting their doubt become your doubt. Look at Walt Disney, the man who created one of the most magical brands in history. When he was young, he was fired from his job at a newspaper because his editor told him he lacked imagination. Can you believe that the man who built Disney, the man who transformed the entertainment industry, was once told that he had no creativity? Most people would have given up right there. They would have accepted the judgment of others as fact. But not Disney. He kept working, refining his skills, and believing in his vision. He ignored the doubters, and because of that he built something that outlived all of them. People doubt you because they don't understand what you're doing, and that's okay. They're not supposed to. Your dreams are yours, not theirs. The reason they can't see your potential is because they don't have your vision. They don't know the work you're willing to put in, the sacrifices you're ready to make, or the fire that's burning inside you. So when they doubt you, don't take it personal. Just smile and let them talk, because one day your success will make them eat their words. Doubt is a test. It's there to see if you have the resilience to keep going. If you crumble at the first sign of resistance, you were never really committed in the first place. Every great person in history has faced doubt. Albert Einstein was told he wouldn't amount to anything when he was in school. The Beatles were rejected by record labels because they were told their music had no future. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. If they had listened to the doubters, they would have faded into obscurity. But they didn't. They believed in themselves when no one else did, and eventually the world had no choice but to believe in them too. Here's a hard truth. Some people will doubt you simply because they don't want to see you succeed. It's not because they don't think you can do it. It's because they're afraid that you will actually succeed, and your success will force them to confront their own failures, their own lack of effort, their own wasted potential. And that makes people uncomfortable. Instead of pushing themselves, they try to pull you down. They'll call you unrealistic, tell you to be more practical, and try to convince you to settle for something safe. But the greatest danger in life is not failure, it's settling for a life that's less than what you're capable of. So what do you do when people doubt you? You keep going. You let their doubt fuel your fire instead of extinguishing it. You don't waste time arguing or trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. Instead, you focus on the work. You put your head down, grind in silence, and let your results do the talking. Because when the day comes that you succeed, the same people who doubted you will suddenly have nothing to say. Muhammad Ali understood this better than anyone. He wasn't just one of the greatest boxers of all time, he was also one of the most doubted. Before every major fight, critics, commentators, and even other fighters said he wouldn't make it. But Ali didn't let that shake his confidence. He trained relentlessly, stayed focused, and proved them wrong time and time again. His victories weren't just about winning a fight, they were about showing the world that no amount of doubt could stop someone who believed in themselves. You have to develop the same mindset. The opinions of others don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. Will you let doubt discourage you, or will you use it as fuel to push even harder? The truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have something to say. If you fail, they'll say, "I told you so." If you succeed, they'll say you got lucky. Either way, their words mean nothing. The only thing that matters is that you believe in yourself. Because when you do, nothing can stop you. Not doubt, not criticism, not setbacks. When you refuse to let outside opinions dictate your path, you become unstoppable. And one day, when you're standing at the top, the people who doubted you won't be doubters anymore. They'll be spectators watching in amazement at what you've built. Number 4. Cutting out distractions and staying focused. Distractions are everywhere, pulling us away from the work that really matters. They disguise themselves as entertainment, urgent notifications, endless scrolling, and even the opinions of others. The truth is, the people who achieve massive success aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They're simply the ones who learn how to block out distractions and stay focused. If you want to win in life, you must develop the ability to protect your time, energy, and attention. Imagine if Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players in history, had spent her time constantly checking social media, watching Netflix, or engaging in pointless conversations about what others thought of her. Would she have dominated the sport for over 2 decades? Absolutely not. While other players allowed distractions to break their focus, Serena was locked in. She trained harder, studied her opponents, and dedicated every ounce of her energy to becoming a champion. She didn't let distractions dictate her schedule. She controlled her focus like a weapon. But in today's world, distractions are more dangerous than ever. We live in a time where our attention is constantly under attack. Social media, emails, texts, and notifications are designed to steal our focus, making it nearly impossible to sit down and do deep, meaningful work, and the worst part, most people don't even realize they're being controlled. Every time you check your phone, every time you get lost in an endless loop of scrolling, you are giving away your most valuable resource, your focus. If you want to achieve something big, you need to develop laser-sharp focus. You need to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. The first step: identify your distractions. What is stealing your time? What is pulling you away from the work that actually moves you forward? Maybe it's social media, TV, gaming, or meaningless conversations. Maybe it's people who constantly drag you into profitless activities and gossip. Whatever it is, cut it out. Not reduce it, not balance it, just eliminate it. One of the greatest minds in history, Nikola Tesla, was known for his extreme focus. He was obsessed with his work, often forgetting to eat or sleep because he was so deep in thought. While others were wasting time chasing fame and fortune, Tesla was perfecting his ideas. His ideas in solitude. He didn't chase distractions. He chased progress, and because of that, he changed the world. So how do you develop this kind of focus in your own life? First, create an environment that supports deep work. If your phone is constantly buzzing, put it in another room. If social media tempts you, delete the apps. If noise distracts you, find a quiet space. Your environment matters more than you think. You petition or learning a new skill, you need to block out time where nothing interrupts you. When it's time to work, work. No excuses, no distractions. Treat it like an appointment with success, because that's exactly what it is. Another key to staying focused is learning how to say no. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you are saying no to your goals. People will try to pull you away, invite you to things that don't align with your vision, or make you feel guilty for not participating. In every conversation, every event, every trend. But here's the truth: you don't owe anyone your time. If something isn't helping you move forward, cut it out. Think about Tiger Woods. In his prime, he wasn't out partying, wasting time, or getting caught up in unnecessary drama. He was practicing, refining his skills, and staying mentally locked in, while others were easily distracted. He remained unshakable. That's why he dominated golf for years, because he had mastered the art of focus. The final step to cutting out distractions is developing an obsession for your goals. When you become truly obsessed with what you're trying to achieve, distractions naturally start to fade away. You won't have time to waste on meaningless activities, because you'll be too busy building something great. When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. Did he stop and complain? No, he kept going, completely consumed by his vision. He understood something most people never will. If you're serious about success, you can't afford to waste time. So ask yourself, are you focused or are you distracted? Are you moving toward your goals every day, or are you letting small meaningless things steal your time? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, luck, or resources, it's focus. Starting today, make the decision to take control of your attention. Turn off the distractions, guard your time fiercely, train your mind to lock in on what truly matters, and when you do that, when you develop unbreakable focus, you will accomplish more in 1 year than most people do in a lifetime. Number 5. Let the results speak for themselves. In a world where everyone is shouting for attention, the most powerful statement you can make is letting your results speak for themselves. Too many people waste time trying to convince others of their potential, talking endlessly about what they're going to do, instead of simply doing it. But the truth is, the world doesn't respect words, it respects undeniable success. If you focus on executing instead of explaining, eventually people won't need an explanation. Your results will say everything for you. Think about Quentin Tarantino, one of the most influential filmmakers of all time. Before he became famous, he worked in a video rental store watching films, obsessively studying scripts and writing his own material. He didn't go around telling people he was going to change Hollywood. Can't expect to stay focused if you're constantly surrounded by things pulling you in different directions. Next, set clear, non-negotiable work hours. Whether you're building a business, writing a book, training for a co. He simply put in the word work day after day without seeking approval. When Reservoir Dogs was released, it caught the industry off guard. Suddenly everyone wanted to know who he was. But Tarantino didn't have to introduce himself. His work introduced him to the world. That's the power of letting your results do the talking. If you build something great, people will notice. You won't have to beg for recognition, explain your vision over and over, or convince people to believe in you. When your work is excellent, it speaks louder than any words. The problem is that most people don't have the patience to wait for their results to unfold. They want instant validation. They want people to acknowledge their effort before it has even produced anything real. But success doesn't work that way. The best way to gain respect is to work in silence and let your achievements create the noise. Look at Michael Jordan. When he was cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't throw a tantrum or seek sympathy. He didn't go around explaining to everyone why he deserved a spot. Instead, he went back to the gym and worked harder than anyone else. By the time he made it back onto the team, his performance spoke for itself. Later, when he dominated the NBA, the people who once doubted him had no choice but to recognize his greatness. He didn't demand respect, he earned it. Too often people try to prove themselves with words, seeking approval before they've actually built anything. But when you focus on becoming excellent, recognition is automatic. If you're the best at what you do, people will come to you. If your work is undeniable, people will seek you out. That's why the most successful people in the world don't waste time announcing their every move. They don't feel the need to convince others. They let their work do the convincing. Think about Maya Angelou, the legendary writer and poet. That she didn't spend years trying to prove that she was talented. She spent years perfecting her craft. By the time she published I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, her words were so powerful that the world had to pay attention. She didn't have to demand recognition, her work made people recognize her. So the question is, are you focused on proving yourself, or are you focused on improving yourself? Every time you seek validation, every time you feel the urge to explain why you're capable, remind yourself your work should make that case for you. If you're spending more time talking about success than actually working for it, you're moving in the wrong direction. One of the biggest advantages of working in silence is that it keeps you free from external pressure. When you announce your goals prematurely, you invite unnecessary opinions, doubt, and expectations. But when you keep your head down and grind, no one is there to interfere. You have the space to make mistakes, experiment, and grow without judgment. And when the time comes to reveal what you've built, it will be undeniable. Don't forget, stop explaining, stop proving, and start building. If you truly believe in what you're doing, then you don't need to waste time convincing anyone. Keep your energy focused on execution and let your success become the loudest voice in the room. If you stay disciplined, if you put in the work without seeking attention, one day people will look at you and wonder, how did they do it? They won't remember your words, they'll remember your results. And when that moment comes, you won't need to say anything at all, because the proof of your effort, your mastery, and your dedication will be right in front of them. Thank you guys for staying with me to the end. Please like and subscribe to get more like this. If this video challenged you, type in the comments section, "I will work hard in silence." Thank you for your time. See you in my next video.